Oh boy.
When I wake up each day, I feel so weary. Try to face the world, but it's so dreary. But I found that special thing that makes me cheery. Time to do music theory. Music theory.
Hello, that's right, your class has a theme song. I try to have a very high standard for all of my teaching videos, so the little music theory jingle there is part of what keeps the quality up. The other thing that really keeps the quality of the class videos up when I'm doing these is me not being on camera that much. It's a lot more useful if you all have pictures of the music we're actually studying or the documents we're talking about and my voice narrating and talking you through it. So you probably won't be seeing me on the videos very much, but I thought I would show up at least once for those of y'all who haven't actually met me officially face to face. You can be like, oh, that's who that guy who's always around the copying machine is. So anyway, hi, I'm Scott, I'm your teacher, and let's talk about advanced analysis. I will be taking you through the syllabus, so here we go. The thing I am not going to do is go through every bit of the syllabus from start to finish. The syllabus is posted online for you to look at, so make sure you can access the Canvas site for our class. Also make sure you're accessing the right Canvas site. If you're taking it as an undergraduate course, you want to be accessing MUT 443. If you're taking this course for graduate credit, which is a nice way of saying doing all that extra work, make sure you're accessing MUT 543. And there you can see every detail that's on the syllabus, including course objectives and things like that. For the purpose of our video here today, though, I don't want to go through all that, but I do want to hit on a few high points for the class. So let's do that as soon as right now. Here's some information I definitely want to cover with y'all. This is basic, but I know you know it's January 2021. The class meeting time is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 4:30 to 7:30. Yeah, that's a long meeting time. I get that. Not only do y'all think that's a long meeting time, I think that's a long meeting time too. If we actually wind up using those meeting times face to face, I will not go for longer than an hour and 15 minutes at a stretch. I will give us good-sized breaks so that we don't get too weary and so that the room we're in can ventilate a little bit and stuff. So if we're meeting and we go past 5:45, feel free to raise your hand and say, it's been an hour and 15 minutes, we're supposed to take a break. I will certainly honor that. We're going to be meeting in room 232 in the music building. It's that first classroom right past the main office. If you ever want to see me in my office, it's room 201 upstairs, right across the hall from the women's restroom. I'm not setting any office hours for January term. Just know if you need to meet with me, you can schedule a time to get with me before or after class, or we can meet via email, or we can meet via Zoom if we need to. And Converse email is a very good way to get in touch with me. Here is the grading scale for the course, the ever popular, much loved 10-point grading scale. Now for graduate students, even though I've got a D option on there, apparently the graduate grading scale the college uses now doesn't acknowledge the grade D. So anything below 70 counts as a failing grade, is an F. But let's just decide we're not going to let that happen to us, and it won't be an issue. So that's one thing about the syllabus I want you to be aware of. Now I've talked about the fact that the class is scheduled to go from 4:30 to 7:30 on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. But as long as we're doing what I'm doing now, which is posting videos online, you all can access those anytime you want. One thing people like about my videos is that they can watch them at midnight if they want. They can watch them at 9 in the morning if they want. And they can go back and watch them repeatedly or rewind if there are things they want to hear repeated. So, you know, if I'm posting videos, that's whenever you want to. If we need to have actual online meeting sessions, be ready to have those at 4:30 on Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays. And like I said before, if you want an office hour or meet with me via Zoom, we can set that up as well. Let's talk about how I'm going to figure your grade out. If you're an undergraduate course, if you're taking MUT 443, this is how I'm going to compute your grade. More than half of it's going to be based on your classwork, which means anything I assign that I want you to hand in that I can grade, and it also means your participation in class if we're actually meeting face-to-face and we're having a live session, or if we're meeting via Zoom and having a live session. Other things I'll be configuring your graduate or your undergraduate grade from, there are going to be 2 or 3 places during the course where I ask you to do in-class presentations, assuming again that we're able to meet at the same time. So those will be 25% of your final grade. And these things called presentation responses, what those are is the graduate students are going to present their final projects. More about that in a minute. And what I'm going to have everybody do is provide a constructive criticism sheet to the presenter, anonymous constructive criticism sheet. So I'm going to expect you to turn in a response for every single graduate presentation, sort of summarizing what you thought the points of that presentation were. If you're a graduate student taking this class for graduate credit, taking MUT 543, I believe the number is, this is how I'm going to figure your grade out. Classwork, again meaning homework and participation in live sessions, is going to be 40% of your grade. Those in-class presentations we do will be 15% of your grade. There will be a final project, which I'll give you more information about later. The final project will have something to hand in, and whatever materials you hand in will be 20% of your final grade. The final project will be something you present to the group, and that will be 15% of your final grade. And then your written evaluations of your fellow graduates' presentations, those responses to their presentations, will be 10% of your final grade. So there will be a separate video that tells you exactly what the graduate project should entail, and I'll direct you to that later on in this presentation. But that's how graduate grading works. One thing that I hope y'all will appreciate about this course is there is no textbook to purchase. Those things can be expensive. I get that. And really for this course, a lot of the works we're going to study are in the public domain, so you won't need to purchase a textbook. However, you will need to be able to access the public domain versions of the pieces we're studying. And it's very important that we all be looking at the same version of these pieces so that we've got the same measure numbers. Or so if we're talking about something in class and we say it's the 4th measure in the 3rd line, everybody's copy looks the same. So in the syllabus, you're going to see that there's a little section that looks like this for instructional materials. It's the titles of the pieces we study, and then it's the URLs for them. Hopefully, if you click on those URLs, like if you click on that first one, it will take you to the scores. So if you were to click underneath the Chopin C major prelude thing, it would take you to this. And with a little diligent scrolling, you would see this, the C major prelude that we're going to be studying. As soon as today. So you definitely want to make sure that you can access those different links to see the scores we're going to be studying from. I've checked them all very recently and they all still seem to be live and working just fine. So make sure that you can access them. The other thing that's worth knowing is when we're going to be doing what. So also in the syllabus, you'll see the schedule for the course. And I've got the course sort of divided into two pieces. There's basically a 19th century part and a 20th century part. And we're going to start out with the 19th century part, which will go through about the second week of the class. And a lot of this is going to be online. So really, the Chopin pieces and the Schubert pieces will all happen as online videos, as will the first movement of the Beethoven String Quartet. By the way, notice I've got January 18th listed as a date when we have class. That's actually Martin Luther King Day, so we wouldn't be meeting in class that day anyway. I kept that piece assigned for that day, but I'll make it available before then. So really, you know, when we show up to class in person, maybe on January 19th, you will need to have already done all the assignments for the Chopin and Schubert pieces and the Beethoven first movement. So you want to make sure you've viewed all those videos, which are already available on the Canvas websites for you. There are also a few things in boldface there that are important. For instance, if you're a graduate student, no later than next Monday, January 18th, I want to know what you're thinking you're going to do for your final project. And like I say, there's going to be a separate video that we'll talk about specifics in that the undergrads can choose to ignore, but that I want you all to look at, and it'll explain what your project should entail. Something that applies to everybody is that on Tuesday, January 19th, there will be student presentations on movements from the Beethoven String Quartet in C sharp minor. And the other thing that's going to happen is on Thursday, January 21st, I'd like to have some progress checks with the graduate students to ask how your graduate project is shaping up, if you're finding research materials you need, whatever. And we can do that either in person if we're on campus, we can do it via Zoom or via email, however your preference works. So that's kind of what I'm picturing happening with the first part of the syllabus. Here's the syllabus for the second part of the course. Again, you can see there are some student presentations that undergrads and grads do on the Britten opera Turn of the Screw and on the George Crumb Black Angel String Quartet. And then the final 2 days of class are when we'll have the graduate student presentations in class. And there's a video called Video 1.5 Graduate Projects that explains exactly how the graduate projects are constructed. So graduate students, I know you're looking forward to looking at that. With the scores for the Britten and the Crumb, those are not public domain works. Somebody somewhere has posted the Britten online, so I have given you access to that. And since we're using this for educational purposes, I'm okay with you all being able to find that online version of Turn of the Screw. Likewise, with the Crumb piece, I will probably be sharing some sort of electronic version of it with you if I can find a machine big enough to scan the score. It's a very, very large, oversized score. And again, we're going to be marking all over these things and tearing them up for educational purposes. So I think we're fine doing that. All right, final issues about the syllabus here. This is an upper level class. It's a graduate level class, so there's no reason to talk about attendance policies. You don't get extra points for coming, but you also don't get points deducted from your grade for missing class. That being said, it's January term. Class doesn't meet that often. There aren't that many classes to miss. So if you miss a class session, each day is akin to missing a week of a semester class. So If if you miss a day, feel like you've missed a week. You really don't want to miss this class if you can help it. And part of why I don't take points off your grades if you miss is because people who miss this class, or any class for that matter, tend to take points off their grade their own selves because they tend to perform less well in the class. It should be not at all shocking to you all when I tell you that the people who do well in this class are the ones who show up and pay attention and ask questions. And ask all the questions you want. I have nothing but time to answer them, and I want to make sure you understand this. And usually, if you're curious about something, somebody else is wondering the same thing. So, don't miss class. That's one important thing. Get the homework in on time. Certainly, you don't want to turn it all in the very, very end of the class. I'm not going to accept it. So make sure you're turning it in when it's due so that you're current with what we're talking about. That's important. And this is probably the most important thing I'm going to tell you about this class. No whining. This is a hard class. That's why it has a name like Advanced Analysis. That lets you know it's a hard class. But even though it's a hard class, I don't want to hear whining. You want to be a musician, you're going to deal with hard music. You're going to have to answer tough questions sometimes. That's what this class is about teaching you to do. Sometimes there will be things you could have studied in the past that might give you a little bit of a helpful insight or something into this. Like if you've had orchestration class, reading an orchestral score is probably going to be a little bit more of a second nature to you than somebody who hasn't. Nobody cares. You still have to read that orchestral score. You're musicians. You should be able to do this. And it's something you're going to have to do in life beyond school, even if you're not taking a class called Advanced Analysis. Likewise, you may know things from music history courses you've taken that'll give you a little bit of insight into the pieces we're talking about. That's good. That's great. Use everything you've got. But don't throw up your hands and say, I don't know this. I haven't been taught this. Part of what I'm trying to teach you to do in this class is to teach yourself. So bear with me on that. And again, I'm here to answer questions that you may want to ask. So don't be shy about emailing me or asking questions in class. But don't whine. Nobody digs that. And on that note, I think we're done discussing the syllabus. So let's talk about what our next steps are. For graduate students only, the next step is this. I want you to go to the video that's called Video 1.5, Graduate Projects. Review that, and that'll tell you the expectations of how the graduate project is going to work. For everybody, graduates and undergraduates, the next video I want us to all go to is video number 2, which is called Recovered Memories Part 1. What Recovered Memories Part 1 is it's basically a very thorough review of chromatic harmony. So before you go to that video, you might want to go to the Canvas page, print out the Recovered Memories worksheet from the files, and go ahead and try to answer those questions. Then dial up the Recovered Memories Part 1 presentation, which is video number 2. After that, there's another one, video number 3, which is Recovered Memories Part 3, which is a quickie review of form and analysis. So again, print the worksheet out, look over it first, get some answers, and the best thing you can do for yourself after going through those 2 videos is keep your worksheets with the correct answers handy as you do your analysis projects, because there'll be good things you can just refer to remind yourself, oh, this is how a rondo works, this is what augmented 6 chords do, whatever. Basically, it's a very, very quick version of the graduate theory review course we offer that lasts a semester long. So go do that, and I will see you all. So graduate students, first go to the graduate project video, then everybody go to Recovered Memories number 1. That's video 2, and I'll see you all there next. Bye-bye.